Hi guys, so today we are here for the demo of T3 Vault, and we'll be deriving certain keys using the T3 Vault application and using the dynamic fractal tacit knowledge. So when we land on the home page of the application, we see two particular options. One is derive your keys. The second one was memorize your keys. So for us, for the demo purposes, we'll be using the derive your keys option. And now when we land on the tacit knowledge options page, we see multiple options. We'll be selecting dynamic fractal. Now we have the dynamic fractal input parameters. So we have three parameters here. One is the tree depth. This specifies like how many iterations of the derivation process do you wish to go through. So for our demonstration purposes, I'll be entering 2, and then we enter the second parameter, which is the time log puzzle parameter. So this is something like which defines like how long will your derivation process take. So the higher the value, the more time your derivation process will take. So for our demonstration purposes, I'll be entering 0, but in a real scenario, you'll be entering any value between 1 and 2016. So I'll enter 1, and then like finally we need to enter the third parameter, which is the password. So now this password, like you can either use a combination of BIP39 mnemonics, or you can like click on this round button on the right hand side, which will like actually generate certain mnemonics for you, as this does. That is universe, cinnamon, crackle, crack, crackle, charge, and cloud. Now I'll just click OK, and it will like paste it there for me. And now I can just like click on this button to show the mnemonics. But for our demonstration purpose, I already have a password, which is inside hungry entry success morning and join. And now when I click on the continue page, you can see that we come across the confirmation page, which shows like what particular parameters we have selected. So the tree depth is 2, and the password is again not shown for due to security purposes. I'll click on the confirm button, and we'll start with the derivation process here. So now you can see that a particular fractal shows up, and you can either like pan around this particular fractal, or you can zoom in and zoom out. So with zooming in and zooming out is being done with the help of scroll wheel, and like panning is done with the help of the left mouse button. Clicking and holding the left mouse button and dragging your mouse across. Now I have all, and then again to zoom in and zoom out, you can see there are two other buttons on the top left and in the top right. The top left button zooms out, and the top right button zooms in. And here we will be selecting a particular tile which I have previously memorized. So, and for that I'm using certain landmarks. So you can see this particular big blotch that we see here on the top. This is the first point. Then there is this particular second blob which I have selected, the T-shaped blob, which is my second landmark. Now when you click, we'll zoom in until and unless we see a particular grid, and once we see the grid, we can click on a particular tile so that that particular tile becomes selected, and we can see a green highlight on top of it. So I'll select this particular first point, and this is my first tile that I need to select, and I click on the submit button to go to the next phase, to the next iteration. And we can always click on the previous level to just go back to the previous level. So I'll just zoom into the same point once again, and you can see like it's quite easy for me as I've memorized it. And initially it seems a bit difficult, but we have a memorization assistant which will help you through that. And now just for demonstration purposes, I'll select a certain different tile, and we'll see that as a completely different fractal comes up in the next stage. So I'll again like go to the previous level, and this time I'll again select the correct point, and you can see I am using certain landmarks. This is the ribbon bow tie kind of option, and then I'm seeing this inverted T kind of option. I'm then zooming onto the tip of that. And again, like as I mentioned, you have this memorization assistant which will help you like memorize this particular entire flow so that you do not get lost. So I'll just select the correct tile here. Okay, again for another demonstration purposes, I'll be selecting another incorrect tile, and you can see a different fractal comes up, although this was in the near vicinity of the correct tile. So now finally I'll select the final correct tile, and I'll proceed with the flow. So just let me zoom in and let me select the tile, and then let me click the submit button. Once I hit the submit button, fractal comes up. I'll zoom into the notch on the top left here, which you can see, and I'll just like zoom into it. Just give me a sec here. And yeah, so I am zooming onto the notch here, and then you can see there is a blob on the left of it, and then zooming on to that, and then you can see there is a kind of an island on the top left, which is my third landmark. I'll be zooming into that. Just give it a sec here. Okay, and I'll be then selecting a particular tile, which is my correct tile, and I'll just click on the submit button, and then we are done with the derivation flow, and you can see we get a certain KA result. So this is your final value. I'll just open up now mousepad, where we can actually paste this thing, and so that we can compare it when I derive it once again, just to show that it is possible to derive the same result or multiple times. And then again I'll generate and copy the seed. This copy seed value is something that gives us a BIP39 mnemonic, which can be used to create certain Bitcoin hardware wallets or something else. So okay, so as you can see, these are the value that we have. Now let me restart the application once, and I'll derive the entire flow once again. So let's wait for the application to restart, and once it's done, I'll go through the flow once again. So yeah, so this is a normal flow of how a particular person will use the application. And now I'm actually going through the particular parameters. I'll be entering the same things, that is 2 for the tree depth, 0 for the time log puzzle parameter, and then I'll be finally pasting the same key, that is inside hungry entry success morning join. And then I'll start the derivation here, and again we can see the confirmation page with the same values. I'll hit confirm, and you can see that the fractal shows up. Again I'll be zooming in onto that on the bow tie part on the left, on the top left, and then on the blob on the bow tie, and then I'll be zooming onto the T structure, on the tip of the tree structure. So once I am zoomed in, and you can see that the grid shows up, I'll select this style, and for demonstration purposes, I'll be selecting some other tile, and I'll be hitting the submit button, and you can see a different fractal shows up. But again I'll go back to the previous level, and I'll select the correct one, and again you can see I'll be again using the same landmarks, the bow tie on the top left, then I'll be zooming onto the blob here, and then I'll be zooming into and once I'm zoomed into the blob, you can see there is an inverted T here. I'll be zooming into that, and at most on the top of the inverted T part here, and then I'll finally select it. I'll hit submit, and we'll wait for the second fractal to show. And here also I'll just use this particular notch as my first landmark. I'll be zooming onto it. Then you can see on the top left there is the second blob here. I'll be zooming into that, and you can see a small island shows up here. So on this island I'll be zooming onto the big island, and once I'm zoomed in, I'll select the correct tile, that is this one, and I'll hit submit. So again, if I'll hit submit, you'll see that the KA result pops up, and if I'll make this visible, you can see it's the same value. Again, for a sanity check, I'll copy this and I'll paste this in the mouse pad and below the previous value that we derived, and you can see all the values or all the entries are same. Again, now I'll just once we go through this, I'll show you the the seed value that we have derived using this particular KA result. So I'll go to the application, I'll generate and copy the seed. Okay, I'll do that in the next flow, but yeah, I'll start the application. But again, as you can see, if the KA result is same, then the seed will always also be the same here. Let's wait for the application to restart, and in this flow I'll be showing what happens if you select certain different tiles here. So I'll agree, I'll derive, I'll select dynamic fractal, I'll enter the input parameters, I'll enter the password. Again, it's the same thing, inside hungry entry success morning join. I'll start the derivation here. I'll confirm. Okay, so as you can see, the input parameters initially were same, so the first fractal that shows up will be completely same, but here I'll select a different tile in the first fractal here. Again, you might not be able to notice the differences in the fractals because they are supposed to be self-similar, but it's not supposed to be the same. They're supposed to be similar but not same. So as you can see, if I zoom in, it's a completely different image here, and I'll zoom into any random tile here. I'll hit submit, and once I hit submit here, you'll see that KA result pops up, but this is completely different as compared to the one that we derived in the previous flow. I'll copy this result, I'll place it into the mousepad below the previous one that we actually derived. And once we see here, you can see that the values are not at all similar, not at all same. And I'll then finally copy and generate the seed value, and I'll paste it below the previous seed value that we generated, and you can see that it is not same. So yeah, so that's all about the dynamic fractal derivation process for T3 volt. So thank you.